Now, you criticized Corey Holcomb for saying Dave Chappelle was an overrated stand-up comic. You said, this is the most horrible take ever. I'm a Dave Chappelle worshiper, and Dave's track record for films is not elite. He did one movie that was considered a cult classic, which is Half-Baked. And outside of that, Chappelle's show is definitely a classic. Dave's strong suite has always been stand-up. He's like the Miles Davis of the art, not the best, one of the best. Style smooth, highly intelligent, but at the same time rough and raw when it needs to be. He's not a one-trick pony who only talks about one thing. And his specials rival Carlin's and Pryor's. You said, what a horrible garbage take that reeks of envy.
Yes.
So you just think that Corey is just envious of Dave Chappelle?
I don't think he appreciates Dave Chappelle because, again, Dave can give you intellectual comedy, thought-provoking comedy. But he can also give you that fast food, junk food. He can go raw. He can be silly, but he's also highly intellectual. And everybody can't do that, And again, Corey's a beast. Corey's a comedic beast. But Corey is one note. You know what I'm saying? He's one note. And it's a strong note. And if you're a fan, you'll eat that note up all day. But everybody ain't gonna be Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? That's what makes Dave so brilliant. And when he was talking about how, the incident in particular, Dave being at the Improv, and he said, some old dude said, man, you ain't gonna crack a joke? Well, first of all, I don't believe that, but even if that did happen, it's like, don't confuse Dave being at a comedy club, sitting on a stool for 2 hours, figuring it out with what will eventually be the special. When you see the special, you getting the finished product. You getting it perfected. Dave can sit on a stool for 2 hours and he might talk for 5 minutes, 6 minutes before he finds the joke. And everybody don't have that ability. A lot of us can't just go into a club and go, I'm gonna bump whoever's next for 2 hours. We can't do that. So when we go up, we gotta make the best of our time when we get it. Whereas Dave, he's earned his stripes. He can do that. So every comedian would love to be able to just sit on a stool and just take your time and flow and find it rather than force it. One of the things that Patrice said, which to this day is hard for me to do, he goes, you gotta be able to sit in silence because it's uncomfortable. It's one of the most uncomfortable things for a comedian to do because they constantly in our minds, we're like, where's the laugh? I ain't getting no laughs. Too much time is going by and ain't no laughs. So it's sitting in the silence and sitting in that uncomfortable spot that allows you, if you can master that, if you can master that uncomfortable feeling and not feel the pressure to always be funny, that's where you find the diamond in the rough. Well, and there's an art to that, man. Yeah. There's an art to that.
But Dave is like the rock star of comedy right now.
He is.
Like, think of, there's no bigger comedian, stand-up comedian than Dave Chappelle right now.
Well, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart can fill an arena, a football stadium.
And Dave can't?
I'm not saying Dave can't, but Dave...
Okay, all right, so this is a good question. Okay, Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle do a show in the same city.
Oh, Dave. I'm going to Dave.
Not you, but which place is going to get filled up the most?
That's a great question. Because I would almost equally. The box office receipts don't, the turnstile receipts don't lie. Kevin sells out arenas, man. And Dave, and see, here's what's I don't know what the right word is, but because I don't want to say weird, but Dave doesn't feel, if Dave wants to do an arena, he'll do an arena. But he would much rather do a smaller venue because he's just quirky like that. The intimacy, he doesn't have to give you the show, even though he knows he could sell it out. He's the dude lives in Ohio. He don't want to live in New York. Yeah, he don't want to live in LA. He lives in Ohio. And not even a major city like Cleveland or Cincinnati.
Well, he lives, he's almost like a Warren Buffett who lives in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, but but you see,
he's so big. Listen, people think that Neverland Ranch was somehow like right in LA. No, it's not. It's like 2.5 hours outside LA. When you're a mega star, you decide where on earth you want to live because you know everyone will come to you, right?
Yeah.
I wish I was that famous where I could just live. For example, I grew up in the Bay Area. I would love to live in the Bay, but I understand I can't work in the Bay. There's no entertainment industry like that. You know? There's no movie stars. There's not a lot of athletes that are constantly going through there. It's not LA. It's not New York. It's not Miami. So I can't live there. But if I was Joe Rogan, then I can live wherever I want. Right? Because I know Joe Rogan turns down Kamala Harris interviews because she doesn't want to come to him.
Yeah.
I'm not in that position. Kamala Harris told me to meet her in an outhouse in the middle of Siberia. I would go meet her in an outhouse in the middle of Siberia because I need that interview, right? But Joe Rogan, you could pick and choose. That's why Dave lives where he wants to live. It's not because that's the only place he can afford. Or...
You know, it reminds me of the dynamic between Magic and Larry Bird.
Okay.
You know, where if you watched one of my favorite documentaries was Courtship of Rivals. And there's a moment where Magic's talking about them being in Barcelona for the Dream Team. And he goes, when we got done with what we were doing, we're about to leave the hotel. And outside the main entrance, the fans, the paparazzi, it's a scene. And Larry Bird is going, hey man, y'all don't have a side door I can go out? Because I don't want to do that. And Magic was like, and you know me, I'm Magic. I ain't going out no side door. I'm going out the front because I'm Magic. That's Kevin Hart. Kevin's going through the front with the paparazzi and the noise. Dave is, give me the back door. Let me slide out the side. Just as effective, but that's Dave.
Okay, so let's get back to that question. Same city, same night, who sells the most tickets? Same city, same night, who sells the most tickets? Both of them are in the same type of venue.
I say Dave, but only by a cunt hair. Only by a cunt hair, man. Because the true comedy purists, the people that love it to their core, that's who Dave is. He's a comedy purist.